So I'll just jump to this session that we plan to have in this event, where we will have a short presentation about the experiences in Siena on these BIPs that were designed and implemented, and some other BIPs are going to be taken in the next few months. So first of all, why BIPs are important, and why the University of Siena is so committed, was and is still so committed to undertake BIPs in several departments and in several degree programs. First of all, because after these years of these frames, and it was more than 2 years that we have been engaged in virtual exchanges and virtual mobility experiences, virtual modalities of making students international started to become sort of part of international strategies within some departments, at least. And this means that in these 2 years, it changed also the way departments conceived virtual modalities of being international for students and for academic staff, meaning that somehow, and I stress somehow, it became virtual modalities to be international became a regular learning activities. I mean regular in the sense that there are some teachers that are regularly, every academic year, thinking of having some credits for students to be implemented in an international and virtual modalities. Virtual exchange, virtual mobilities, being in contact with international colleagues and students convinced some of the academic staff in Siena and in some departments especially, that it is worth to go on with these experiments, let's say so. And now that we are not restricted anymore due to the pandemic situation, we try to combine physical and virtual activities in these new experimentations of the BIPs that the European Commission gives us the possibility to test. And during the when designing BIPs BIP programs, we also think of specific learning outcomes for our students. I mean specific because when reading syllabus, you know, these papers that we are forced to compile, but they have the meaning. They are not only a mandatory duty for our work. In the syllabus, students try to understand what we are offering them and what we promise them to reach and to achieve after they attend some courses. So we need to, when designing BIP, we, at least I'm thinking about my experience with our other international colleagues, we're thinking of which kind of learning outcomes our students will gain, will achieve after the BIP programs that can be specifically useful for them when they leave BIP and when they will be somehow in front of the occupations. They will need to think, what will I be in the future, professionally speaking. So it is also, I stressed, evolution for didactics and research, because virtual BIPs and international activities, it is also a very precious opportunities for us, for the academic staff, to evolve and to innovate research and didactics. Especially, we are very good if we can merge research within didactics, so we can always innovate what we are doing for our students. Some figures, you see that, I will not go into details, but you see that after pandemic, in our degree course at the Department of Education Science, we got some increase in internationalization activities. After 2019, we got more than 10% plus of students that gained international credits because of the international activities they were attending. And this is because they were pushed, motivated, guided to attend international activities at distance. So we got a lot of students, a lot compared to the number of students we in education sciences were used to have. We got a lot of students attending ready-made programs, steps, and virtual mobilities that we designed for them. So it was a success. This must be said, and it was a success also because I was following them. So I can. I mean, I'm telling the truth. It is also a success because there was not any leaving the BIP, leaving the virtual activity before the end. So no dropouts. And you know that dropouts is a very huge priority and problem for education in Italy and all over Europe in general. So the BIP we are going to have in 2024, I designed it with other colleagues, and everything is ready, so we'll need to start in March. So we will work on this issue, informal adult learning in prison setting. Why did we choose this topic? The main reason is because most of our students can work in prison, but they don't know to do what. They don't know anything about their, let's say, customers. The customers who are detainees, but are also former detainees that they can come back to prison, and they have different needs, these different problems to deal with, and so on. So we will debate about this specific topic, informal adult learning in prison, because why is it specific? Because it's informal learning, so not learning in general, and because it is addressed to adults. So we will not take care of, for instance, prisons for juveniles. We will discuss this topic with colleagues from the University of Debrecen in Hungary, with the European University of Cyprus, and with the University of Malta. The teachers, or better to say experts, we selected to involve in this BIP program are people and experts from the Regional Justice Department, because they are the ones that, on behalf of the Minister of Justice, are dealing specific issues in prisons in Tuscany and in Umbria, that are the two regions in the central part of Italy. We will have as experts the heads of the penitentiary institutions located in Siena and in Arezzo. We will have and we will debate on these issues with prison security staff and with prison educators. And of course, we will also have the opportunity, we started the process of getting all these authorization and permissions from the Minister of Justice. We will have also the opportunity to meet some inmates both in Arezzo and Siena, and then the Italian and EU experts that are the colleagues from Debrecen, Malta, and Nicosia I was working with. Some numbers in terms of students we are going to reach, we are going to get. Students that will be traveling to Italy are in total 17, and they will be mixed from Hungary, Cyprus, and Malta, and they are from different degree programs and from different departments. And then there will be around 10 students from the University of Siena. They will not be traveling, but they will be involved in all the BIP activities. The BIP activities will be structured in 3 parts. So there will be a virtual preparatory activities where these students will get the opportunity to work together, to know each other, and to get prepared to the physical mobility. The physical mobility will be taken in Siena and Arezzo. And then there will be also some virtual activities that will have a sort of function of a following up of everything that was done in the part 1 and part 2 of the BIP program. So in total, teaching hours will be 36 hours, whilst learning hours, so the hours that will be dedicated by self-directed learning by students, will be 17 plus 36 before. So there will be around something more than 50 hours for each student to learn something. In these learning hours, we include also the defense of the project work that students in groups will be required to arrange, prepare, and discuss in plenary sessions. And what about after? What are we going to do after the BIP? We already, with this, they are the colleagues I worked and I will host in from March 2024. We are already thinking what to do after this BIP in terms of enlarge these activities to other students that will not be allowed to travel, and also to enlarge, to benefit from this BIP program in terms of research and innovate that didactics that we are going to prepare for the next academic year. So this is all, and then I will give the floor to the colleagues that will explain us one of the big programs that have been already undertaken here in Siena, and it was a very enthusiastic activity that was happily joined by teachers and by students. So we thought that it was funny to have both the academic staff that was responsible for designing and managing this activity, and also we got a young testimonial, and young student that joined the activity, so we can also hear the point of view of students that are joining this kind of experience. So I'll give the floor to Filomena Giannotti from the University of Siena, that is the teacher who followed all the process, and then to Agnese Colarizzi Graziani, that is the student who joined the program.
Francesca, could you pause it? Thank you so much, Francesca. I'm sorry for the technical glitches. First of all, thank you, other Francesca, my colleague, Francesca Torlone, and many compliments on your very interesting project, which seems to be a noble program, in my opinion. So I am a researcher in Latin language and literature here at the University of Siena. I know it can sound a bit awkward, Latin language and literature, but Latin is nothing but a dead discipline and language. And this is my student, Agnese Colarizzi Graziani, who is currently attending the master's degree in classics at our department. Before beginning, let me thank all the Frames team, and especially Dr. Sara Pittarello, together with Professor Francesca Torlone and Professor Luca Verzichelli, for their kind invitation to share this recent pilot project with you. Aeneas Route was a real teamwork, and would never have been possible without the irreplaceable support of all the International Relations Division of Siena University. So my sincere thanks go to all the international staff, and especially to Anna Pratesi and to Candida Calvo Vicente, who are probably the two people whose patience I've put to test the most during the project. I'm also grateful to my department, in the person of its head, Professor Pierluigi Pellini, for being among the first to believe in this project, to my colleagues Stefano Ferrucci and Alessandro Fo, and my four lovely students, in addition to Agnese, Francesca Caponi, who joined us here today, Francesca Chiodo and Alessia Nichini for their outstanding collaboration during the project. So let's turn now to our BIP. The Aeneas Route is a cultural and archaeological itinerary promoted in 2018 that stretches from the coasts of Turkey to the shores of ancient Latium in Italy, following the route described in Virgil's Aeneid, which encompasses 5 Mediterranean countries: Turkey, Greece, Albania, Tunisia, and Italy, and includes 21 main stopovers. One of the objectives of this itinerary is to disseminate the cultural and artistic heritage linked to the myth of Aeneas and the Virgilian story of the Aeneid, which are symbol of the long development of Mediterranean culture and of the common European roots. 2 years ago, it was awarded the certification Cultural Route of the Council of Europe, becoming the 45th cultural itinerary officially recognized, the first having been the Camino de Santiago in 1987. Right after this important recognition, I had the idea of the Aeneas route as the content of an Erasmus project. And after that, an official agreement, a memorandum of understanding, to be precise, was struck up between my department and the Aeneas Route Association. I started searching for foreign universities and foreign colleagues interested to be involved in an Erasmus project on the Aeneas route. My aim was to ideally retrace the journey of the mythical hero Aeneas from Troy to Italy. So after maybe hundreds of contacts and emails, I finally managed to create the following pattern, involving universities from all the countries bordering the Aeneas route: Koç University Istanbul and Aristotle University Thessaloniki from Turkey and Greece as program countries, and Tirana and Carthage universities from Albania and Tunisia as partner countries. In the meantime, Trinity College Dublin asked to join us. Of course, we were aware Ireland is not on Aeneas route, but we're happy to have an English-speaking partner, as the teaching language of this project was English. At first, I had actually thought about a simple virtual exchange, because at that time, 2 years ago, we were still in the midst of the pandemic. However, Dr. Anna Pratesi of our university suggested that we try a new Erasmus project, blended intensive program, because, as you know very well, its main characteristic is the integration of a short physical mobility with the virtual component. As I had the chance to learn during 3 different training courses organized by Unicollaboration, and as Dr. Stefanelli mentioned earlier, the virtual component may be a preparatory or follow-up activity to the physical mobility, or also an intertwined component of the physical mobility. Due to the pandemic, we made a decision to start with the virtual component, which, in hindsight, worked much better anyway, in my opinion. Now, I lend it over to Agnese for a summary of the key points of the virtual component from the point of view of one of the participating students.
Thank you very much, Professor. So, as you can see from these pictures, which shows some of the people who were still online at the precise moment of the screenshot at the end of the session, the participants were both students and teachers, and in 3 sessions, 2 facilitators from Unicollaboration, Dr. Anna Viven and Dr. Lorenza Bacino, whose role was to help us students to get to know each other, overcome cultural and linguistic barriers, especially during the first online session, and reflect on the progress of the project and our own progress. Our virtual exchange lasted from March to June 2020 and 2022, and was articulated into 3 facilitated sessions of 2 hours only for us students, one at the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end of the course. And 4 content sessions, the first 2 with short lectures by our teachers on the theme of Aeneas' route, in an interdisciplinary perspective ranging from Greek and Latin literature, ancient history, archaeology, art history, to communication and valorization of the Mediterranean heritage. And the last 2 content sessions with short presentations of our group research project by us students. We had been divided into 8 transnational groups and had the task of choosing 8 different stages of Aeneas' route and work on them. The content sessions were held on one of the platforms used by Siena University, GMeet. For the facilitated sessions, a Zoom platform was made available by Unicollaboration, along with a Moodle platform where the teachers loaded their material. In order to carry on our group research, we students made use of all these various channels, as you can see in the slide. One of the most challenging aspects of this project was to motivate us students to participate in this program, especially in the virtual component. So in addition to the objectives Prof. Giannotti has already mentioned, 2 more personal goals for us students were to obtain 6 credits in total from our own universities and an open badge from Unicollaboration. And here's a copy of my open badge. And here are the completion criteria to be satisfied in order to obtain both the open badge and the first 3 credits. To attend at least 6 out of 7 of the online sessions of the virtual exchange, to submit our individual e-portfolio for intercultural learning, to present our group projects during an online session, and to create a poster to be published as a final product of our group research activity. All the posters were eventually published in a virtual exhibition on a special page of Aeneas Route Association website called Aeneas Route for Young People. And here is the poster I realized with my group mates, Evangelos from Thessaloniki and Frank from Tirana. The subject is the stage of Aeneas' journey in Delos, and we try to develop it from different perspectives, highlighted in the poster in 3 different colors. Evangelos worked on the episode in the Aeneid, and you can see it in the blue boxes. I focused on the comparison between Ovid and Virgil regarding the same episode in the green boxes, while Frank described the archaeological excavations made in the sanctuary in Delos in the pink boxes.
Thank you so much, Agnese. Let's move on now to the second part of our program, the short physical mobility. We hosted a 5-day summer school between the 5th and the 9th September 2022 with the help of Candida Calvo Vicente and the incoming mobility section for the accommodation of the guest students. Here is the detailed program of the summer school. I did my best to make it well balanced and avoid stressing the students. So as you can hopefully see from the slide, in addition to institutional moments such as the welcome meeting and the farewell dinner, here underlined in light blue, I tried to combine lectures followed by workshops with open discussion, here in yellow, and group research activity in green, because the participants were divided into transnational groups again and requested to contribute to the dissemination of this project by making a group video on the summer school. The videos were presented during our last meeting, and the producers of the best video received a little prize. To conclude, I'm happy to show you now a short video on our summer school. It's less than 3 minutes. Since it was prepared by my student Agnese and Francesca, I'll hand it over to Agnese again.
Thank you again, Professor, and I'm very happy to share this video with you that I made with my friend, and I hope it will illustrate to you the atmosphere of joy, the feeling of one big family, and the warm and enthusiastic participation by us students. And so please also let me use this moment to thank our professor for all the hard work she did, because she did. And so she gave us the opportunity to participate in such a unique and enriching project. So thank you very much, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, Agnese and Gay. So let's hope to be lucky with technology and enjoy the video.
So before closing the session, if there are comments or ideas, maybe questions to anyone of us about BIPs, please feel free. Yes.
Yeah, one for Filomena, since she said that it's very difficult to motivate the students. So I wonder, how do we need to do it? What's the key point in engage students in this, for them to know that this is for them important?
I should have to be more precise and specify that I meant other colleagues, students, because I was very lucky with my first students we recruited here in Siena. And in our specific case, it was easier because we have already had a precedent experience called the TEP, Transnational Erasmus Project, and they had already taken part in this experience. So for them, it was unprecedented. Okay, I know that it was hard for my colleagues to motivate students, but just because they hadn't been trained in this kind of experiences. So I think the key is to start to motivate teachers, and then teachers in turn might be able to motivate their students. I don't know if I convinced you.
Motivation for students is a crucial point, especially if we want them to go on until the end of the program. So motivate students, guide them. It's an ongoing process. It's not that you do it at once at the beginning and then you leave them. So it's a very, how to say, regular, but also you need to pay attention to them during the program, because otherwise you lose them. I mean, just like this. So it's a competence of teachers to look at students and also to intercept in advance the risk of dropping them out. It's not easy, especially for some kind of students. So it requires teachers to be very careful at students individually. If they miss one meeting, why is that? Where is she or her? To be in constantly in contact, direct contact with them. Meetings, virtual meetings, web conferences, phone calls. So we usually don't write it in syllabus, or we don't write it in the programs, but guiding and looking at them constantly is something that we must do if we want them to be on board until the end.
If I may jump in again, Agnese talked earlier about credits and open badge. Of course, students are very interested in the way they can spend their Erasmus experience. But personally speaking, I'd like to add that when teachers are trained for this kind of experience, the key you asked me about is enthusiasm. A teacher should be able to transfer their enthusiastic participation to their students. So the most important thing is to try to be as more enthusiastic as possible.
In my personal experience, I was very interested by the subject, because Latin is my passion. So to work with people from all around Europe about Enea's journey was for me one of the first key moments at the start. And then during the program, it was a long program and it required a bit of work, but it was the relationship with the people, the friends I made, and they are still friends. So, and the work we managed to do. So it was maybe my interest at first, and then the beauty of working together with other people, I think.
Yes.
Yes, I just two little things. You mentioned, for example, the fact that you had been trained in TEPs, in transnational projects, but I seem to remember, correct me if I'm wrong, that as part of your BIP, you provided training for your partners right at the beginning, so that they could be at the same, hopefully, the same steps you were. with regard to the concepts of virtual exchange, what it's supposed to be and how to go about it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Before starting the virtual component, the partners and I attended a specific workshop on the BIP we were going to take part in. The BIP was organized by Unicollaboration. I think it was very helpful experience because my colleagues were interested in the NS theme, just like Agnese, but I'm sorry to say they didn't have the foggiest idea about virtual exchange. So training is important, but can also be provided in a second moment and not at the very beginning.
Yes, and my other question is for Agnese, and you know, it may be your last word on this. You said that at the beginning, it's not always easy to motivate students to take part in a virtual exchange. We talked about how busy teachers are, but students are also very busy. And so sometimes they have to decide what to do and what not to do. You mentioned credits as being the carrot that was waved in front of you. What now, with hindsight, how would you convince students, first-year students, to take part in this kind of experience? What would you say to them to convince them?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is that it's an opportunity to learn a lot of different things, not only academically speaking, but technological skills like video editing or other things maybe I didn't know how to do before, and the BIP was a real groundwork for this. But also the relationship that you make. Also in the facilitated session, we had the opportunity to express ourselves in the most free way possible, to really get to know each other, and that was the solid base for then working together on our posters. So yes, and at the end, the relationship that you make with this project, also with the virtual component, are really a real relationship, and that motivates you to go on, to work, to do your best. And so like opportunity like this, like really gave you the possibility to learn from a range of very different things that maybe you didn't even think about at the start. So I would like to express this and share my enthusiasm that I still have for the project we had. So yes, maybe this one.
Thank you, very valuable.
Hello, just a clarification, was this from different departments also? Because which is what I really appreciate. So you were from different universities, and then you also tackled a singular subject from different disciplines, which in a way also breaks the university silos that I think one of you mentioned. So I just really like to, I really appreciate that kind of project, yeah.
That's true. You really made the point. I tried to make in my PowerPoint. NS route was tossed around by very different perspectives because the scholars who were really working on the Ennead were just the University of Siena, my department, which is a department of philology, the Thessaloniki University, and Trinity College Dublin. But the colleague from Tirana University is an archaeologist. And also the colleague from Koç University Istanbul. And as for Carthage, it was a completely different situation because the students were attending a master in valorization and dissemination of Mediterranean heritage. So it was a truly interdisciplinary perspective. And the same subject as you had the chance to see from Agnese's poster was treated from different point of views.
it was very enriching, I have to say. Also, working with my little group on about Delos, it really makes the experience more like bigger. And also for me, like I'm a philologist, but sometimes maybe you like remain with what you study, with, instead of open your mind and look at different point of views. There are all advantages for me also. Like, so I worked with Frank, that was an archaeologist, and he was like explained to me all the different like exploration in Delos and how to link that to the text in Virgil and Ovid. So it was really an enriching experience. And then also in the summer school, we tried to, with our videos, to show this different, that we came from different backgrounds, and everyone like took with yourself like the perspective, but in the same subject. So it was enriching, I have to say. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. First, thank you so much for this presentation and congratulations for this amazing job. I have one question and then a follow-up question. The first one is, did the students get to experience or interact with local students from any of the partner universities? And then, is this an initiative that will you consider moving forward for the next editions? Thank you.
Yes, like we had the opportunity to interact with each other and a lot of work, also in the virtual component, but also in the summer school. We other departments also, and about the city. Like for my group, we interview also people in the city about Aeneas. So it was really an interactive work between us.
For your second question, we're not planning a sequel, let's say so, of this project, because in this case, we would need a different coordinator university. So BIP could go forward, but for example, Tirana University should become the coordinator university, and the main reason for this is that they're not trained, they're not so well trained to become a coordinator of this project. Maybe, who knows, in the future, another BIP, but on a different subject.
Thank you. It was wonderful to hear the presentation, the experience. I want to ask Agnese, how do you think that if you hadn't done the virtual exchange before, what would the mobility, the 5 days have been? I mean, what do you think that the big difference that the virtual exchange contributed to the...
Yes, I think it made a difference because we already knew each other, had the opportunity to work together. So it was easier to again start the work because also we had a week to create our videos, attending lectures. So the atmosphere was already created. And I think the virtual component was essential to this. The facilitate session, absolutely, because we had the opportunity to really talk to each other and express our feelings and create our own role in the project, because there were parts when we talked about the progress of the project, our also personal goals, what we wanted to do. So I think it was essential to do the virtual component before. So when everyone came to Siena, we already knew each other, and we start from literally the beginning to really work together.
To this, if I may, short physical mobility is only for student universities participating in the BIP, but not for the coordinator university. And that was really a pity. So our Erasmus office managed to organize a short physical mobility for our students as well outside the BIP. So we spent a whole week in Aristotle Thessaloniki University in Greece.
Wow, thank you, Philomena. In fact, I was
Yeah.
going to ask you about the
That's-
limitations
I
of
think, I
the
think
BIP.
that was a prize for our students and for their commitment and all their efforts.
I had a question about well, the overview. You showed us the program and the different sessions. There were a few sessions which mentioned students only. And I was wondering what you were doing during those sessions and also how it worked out regarding also the different ways of working, communication.
Yes, the facilitated session were for only us students and the Uni Collaborations facilitator. And what we did was really, they were aimed to make us get to know each other from a personal way, but also to get a solid base for the work, because we had one like, sorry, at the start that was to present ourselves, our background, and so to get to know each other. Then one in the middle, then we already had started working together in groups, so to check our progress and also how we were feeling during the program, if we liked it, if not, what we thought was a good thing, what was not, what we wanted to make it better for our parent group work, but also the project in general. And one at the end to verify all the project. And also, like in the summer school, we had students only group when we were working on the video, like in the video, there was a picture of us in the computer lab, and we had like all these hours to work only as students in the university, but also around the city.
Teachers' point of view, we made a decision to draw a distinction between content sessions when we worked on specific themes and facilitated sessions. We were aimed to work on more on soft skills, generally speaking. Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations on such a beautiful project. I love it. And it's such a pity that you cannot continue it. So following up on your question, you mentioned my colleagues we cannot do it again because my colleagues didn't receive any training or the other partners didn't receive training, so they cannot be the coordinator. So I was wondering, is it obligatory to do training, and what kind of training? Is it a BIP training or is it a different kind of training?
No, of course, it's not compulsory to be trained, but our colleagues got scared during the summer school, seeing all the efforts we have made to organize this, because of course that's just the top of an iceberg, but there's also a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucratic and administrative work. And I am very lucky to work here in Siena because I have to say my one feeling was that my colleagues from abroad didn't have the same relationship with the Erasmus office I have the luck to have here in Siena.
Okay, so again, the internal stakeholder collaboration.
Yeah, and this is just to underline how important the administrative role is in this project.
Yes, indeed. And one other question about the credits. Were they on top of the student workload or were they integrated? The credits, the 3 credits you could get for the BIP, were they on top of the workload students already have, or were they integrated into the programs?
See, I don't know. Additional credits.
Additional, okay.
They have a specific name in our bureaucracy. Crediti in esubero, they're called in Italy.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Of course, there's also the possibility of BIP, let's say, as part of a course And in that case, credits are not extra credits.
Yes, this will be the case for the BIP program that will be taken in March 24. So it will be recognized 6 credits. They will be recognized as a traditional course. So they will not attend the traditional course, they will attend BIP, and then they will get it as a traditional course. And let me add that I perfectly agree with what Filomena was saying, that the administrative support is crucial. Also, the colleagues from Cyprus, Hungary, and Malta, they told me, if you are the one leading and coordinating and managing everything, we will follow you because we have a long-lasting cooperation. Don't ask us anything because our administrative and international departments do not know anything about BIPs and they do not want to be engaged in this issue. So maybe in some years, but you need someone that will take the lead, the leadership of everything, not only the designing, but also the administrative and management parts. It's crucial.
And it's a lot of work, paperwork.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I was asking because we have a BIP and students already dropped out beforehand because the workload is too heavy for them. And also, well, the paperwork is also, yeah, even for students, the paperwork is too heavy already.
Yes.
So we can still improve there.
Yes, we started the recruitment for March 2024, 6 or 7 months before. So now it's 1 year. It will be 1 year more or less to motivate in Italy, Hungary, Malta, and Cyprus to inform, to motivate, to push them, and so because they have to apply formally. They will have an interview, and then they will be accepted or not. They will be accepted, but it's a long process.
Yeah, it is. Yes. Thank you.
Any other comment? Yes. The microphone. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. What about the recognition of the work made by teachers? I mean, is this, I mean, have you created a course in your offer, in the didactic offer of the university, or it's just an additional work for the teacher? And also, this is important for us. I mean, I work in Italy, so we are implementing some BIPs that we have to, in order to recognize this credit for students, we have to create the course in our course catalog. Otherwise, it's just additional work for everybody and no recognition, not for teacher, nor for students.
I can answer for my part. My recognition is my desire and the willingness to provide something new and something innovative to my students. Formally speaking, we prepare the syllabus, and I include also in the syllabus this kind of activities, but nothing more. No, you have to do the other things and the other stuff, although this is much more demanding because really bureaucracy, but also contacts, because you need to also select the proper international colleagues in order to, you don't do it, I mean, I don't know your experience, but you don't do it with anyone. So you need to construct consensus and willingness to be on board in this process, and it's a long process for preparation, implementation, and then evaluation. So formally, no money, no timing, no less lectures, and no, not so far. Sì, esatto.
As for my own experience, to be honest, I have to say that at the very beginning, I was behind in internationalization with my CV, because I should have apologized at the very beginning. I have been studying English for maybe 4 or 5 years, so I'm still learning it. So this was a very good opportunity for me to internationalize my CV, but I became very passionate about that. And I was also lucky because, as I told earlier, the head of my department, Professor Pellini, is very enthusiastic about internationalization for our department and was one of the first to believe in this project. So in my case, there was a specific recognition because the 18 hours of this project were included in the total amount of the hours I have to do, which is last year it was 60 hours. So 60 hours were 18 hours were detracted from 60 hours I owed to my department.